But this is an argument from lack of data. There are no transitional forms, and that's used then as proof of the brand of evolution called punctuated equilibria.
According to creationists, this does not exist.
This is bad science.
We agree. The caliber of research being conducted by the ICR is atrocious. We are skipping the hatchet job on Dr. Richard Goldschmidt. Dr. Goldschmidt's saltationism hypothesis was rejected long ago, and insulting him at this stage is just too childish.
It seems like almost every new development in science is converging to destroy evolution. And that's true.
It is a blatant lie.
Regardless of whether we're talking about new discoveries in astronomy,
astronomy is not evolutionary biology.
Or paleontology or biology, this is true.
No, evolutionary biology is the foundation of modern biology.
In the last decade, most of the basic pillars upon which evolution has stood have collapsed, and the theory is now in chaos.
It's anarchy, I tell you. Anarchy. Researchers are burning down labs, textbooks are being burned en masse, graduate students are spontaneously combusting. Anarchy. No, wait, Miss Folger is lying. Again.
Unfortunately, at this time, the evolutionists are crying louder than ever before that evolution is a fact.
Actually, most biologists completely ignore creationists. Parents, however, cry rather loudly when creationists try to supplant science with their religion in the public classroom. And way to go, parents. You should.
If evolution was true, we wouldn't be concerned about the extinction of species. There'd be new ones being created.
Speciation events are happening. Extinction is a concern because once a population is gone, it's gone forever. Also, someone should email Chuck Missler and inform him that an extinct population cannot undergo further divergence.
We don't have two species.
Why is Mr. Missler denying a well-known fact?
We got deterioration.
Who came up with that conclusion? Simply because life is not adapting as you see fit does not equate with deterioration.
We have all kinds of species that no longer exist.
This is known as extinction. It is a prediction of evolutionary biology. That just does not even make sense. If something has been found, it can no longer be described as missing. Words have meaning for a purpose.
Let's consider the case of human beings.
Now you know why we already covered those fossils.
Evolutionists say humans came from apes.
Actually, humans are apes. We have much finer body hair, walk upright, and have a slight intelligence advantage. But to be brutally honest, we're little more than inbred mutant apes that are balding.
For years, some scientists tried to pass off certain fossil discoveries as the missing link between the two species. The problem is, every last case was shown to be either a fraud or an error.
Why Miss Folger chose to use such juvenile antics is a mystery. We employ such tactics in our long videos because we know many of you have ADD and we need to snap your attention back to us. However, as previously shown, there are a great many number of hominid fossils.
Darwin's answer is that we and modern apes have evolved from some common ape-like ancestor millions of years in the past.
Dr. Donald Johanson, director of the Institute of Human Origins at Arizona State University, discovered Lucy, an alleged ape-to-man missing link.
There is nothing alleged about the Australopithecus afarensis specimen known as Lucy.
Here's what Dr. Johanson said in a NOVA program on PBS.
I was headed back to my Land Rover. It was about noontime, and I was going to drive back to camp. And I just happened to look over my right shoulder, and I noticed a small piece of bone resting on the surface of the ground. And as I began to look around and scan the slope, I could see not only bits of a leg, but bits of a skull, a little piece of a jaw. And I realized right there in that noonday sun that what I had literally stumbled across was most of an entire skeleton.
Here was the skeleton of a creature that looked like it could walk like us, but with many ape-like features. The ape that stood up, it was a revolutionary idea.
It was a revolutionary idea, all right. Unfortunately, it didn't turn out to be a missing link.
Because it had been found. Remember, words have meaning.
though Johansen still claims it is.
Is Miss Folger really trying to portray Dr. Johansen as a French kook? Lucy is placed as an early hominid because the evidence dictates such.
Lucy has been restored in museums around the world to look like a human ancestor. She's usually given a sort of an ape-like face and a human-like body, human hands, human feet. The truth is that Lucy's bones are actually those of an extinct arboreal ape. Many anthropologists who've examined Australopithecus remains have come to the conclusion that it's nothing more than an extinct ape.
The restored Lucy.
The knee joint would hint that Lucy was human.
Lucy has no knee joint. The pelvis, femur, and tibia of Lucy are more similar to those of humans than to those of chimpanzees.
But what the evolutionists don't tell you is that the knee joint was found about a mile away and almost 200 feet deeper than the other bones.
More crack research. This nonsense originates from a creationist named Tom Willis in 1987. Johansen discovered a second Australopithecus at a nearby site. That find consisted of a pair of legs with a complete knee joint. Lucy has no knee joint.
That means the knee belonged to another creature, a human.
The creationist logic train has officially derailed and is spilling thousands of gallons of noxious nonsense into the environment. Please take appropriate action to protect yourselves. The second find was actually a prior find, which occurred a year before the discovery of Lucy.
While the rest of the bones were from an extinct ape.
Yes, Australopithecus is extinct, and hominids are apes, including humans.
For it to be a missing link, fossils would have to show that the intermediate creatures had the capacity to make tools and walk erect.
That goalpost just keeps moving. It is not enough that Australopithecus has been shown to be adapted to bipedal locomotion. Miss Folger wants a fossil found holding a shovel.
Quality humans possess.
As well as chimpanzees.
Yet no such fossils have ever been found.
Tool use has been observed and is well documented in chimpanzees. It is not a defining characteristic of humans. Additionally, fossils are the remains of organisms which have died. It is rather difficult to observe them doing much of anything, let alone using tools.
Walking upright is something that only humans can do.
Is it really?
And it needs a special kind of knee joint.
There are many other adaptations needed for bipedalism than those of the knee. Changes in the pelvis and femur are much more crucial, and are observed in Australopithecus.
One that can be locked straight. A chimp gets around on all fours. If it tries to walk upright, its knee joint doesn't lock. It's forced to walk with a bent leg, and that's tiring.
So the evolutionist has to somehow find an animal that has at least the latent capacity to make tools.
Again, that poor goalpost is forced to move across town by the creationist mob. Tool-making is not a defining characteristic of humans. New Caledonian crows have been observed to make hooks. The noble crow, scourge to farmers worldwide, and apparently creation scientists as well. This crow takes a straight piece of pliable wire, bends it to form a hook, and then uses its new tool to retrieve a small basket containing food. Tool use is not a defining characteristic of humans.
Walk erect.
Has evolved multiple times.
And a relatively large brain.
These fossils do not exist.
But at this point, you must be thinking, what about all those displays at the museums?
Please do not go the conspiracy route.